Hello there.
Hello everyone, Hybrid Toy Reviews here, bringing you episode 4 of Black Series of Yesteryear, a fun retrospective series where we talk about the earlier Black Series waves, and today we finish the Orange Line. With Orange Line Wave 4, it gives us 2 new figures and 2 repacks, and ultimately, as far as character selection, is actually a pretty solid wave. A lot of these figures have not aged very well, though. So, anyways, let's go ahead and jump in. This wave would have released early in 2014, and we'll start with our 2 reissues. We have Orange Line number 6, Boba Fett. This is a reissue of that Empire Strikes Back Boba Fett from Wave 2, and this figure definitely needed reissued. Back in the day when he came out, he was very difficult to get a hold of, whether you were looking for the San Diego one or if you were looking for the single pack. They were all expensive on eBay, and reissuing Boba Fett definitely made some sense, even if in Boba Fett's case, he still didn't really become readily available on shelves. This wave, as I recall, because this was right around the earlier days of me. This was the year that I became capable of driving, so I was starting to go out and get on the hunt. And this wave, as far as I know, never really turned up in any significant way at retail. Walmart and Target's pegs were full of Orange Line Obi-Wan and Greedo and Slave Leia and Han Solo, and they just were not moving. And so they weren't getting this new wave. Some characters in this wave I had to grab on Amazon back in the day. Some of my earliest online pickups in the Black Series. So Boba Fett, a worthy reissue, but unfortunately it didn't make him really that much more readily available. Our second reissue of the wave is Orange Line number 9, Imperial Stormtrooper. A great figure to reissue. While he did only come out the wave before, he's an army builder, and the wave before elected to repack Han Solo from wave 2 instead of just double packing the Stormtrooper, which would have made more sense. Remember, back in the day, you only had 4 figures in a case of Black Series, so getting the Stormtrooper out again the immediate following wave definitely made some sense. It was a alright figure for the time, and it was army buildable. You know, you wanted to have multiples of him, and the fact that he was a little difficult to get a hold of, because again, 1 per case, just it made a lot of sense. So an immediate reissue of the Stormtrooper, while there might be that immediate bias, yeah, you kind of just need to have this guy available at all times. Next, we get into a figure that has turned into a frustration the longer they've reused it. Orange Line number 12, Anakin Skywalker. This figure was very complimentary to the Orange Line Obi-Wan Kenobi from Wave 3. This Anakin always had a fun little QC thing. Not in the final product, but all the promo photos, they didn't dye the soft goods of his lower tunic, so they all look white in every promo photo, and to date, they've never gone in and photoshopped or redone it. Now, the ones that you got had a dark brown soft goods material, but just something worth noting. This is pre-photo real, and so taking a look at those head sculpts, they are rough. Yeah, they, you know what? I'll say it. They are on par with what Hasbro was doing in 2013, 2014. Like they've just not aged well, and they didn't look good really when they came out, and they started to look very bad very quickly after, because Hasbro did get the ball rolling on the likenesses not too far after this. But he did come with a swappable Sith head, and he came with his blue bladed lightsaber, and the gimmick, of course, of the blade being removable. And yeah, this is the Anakin body that then they archived, and the articulation, at least in the arms, has always been a little bit frustrating. The legs are just ugly, but they are a product of 2014. Double jointed knees with thigh swivel and big swivel ankles, and they're just a little ugly looking when you articulate them in any way. And but apparently Hasbro's still okay with them, because they've used them as recently as this summer for Flashback Anakin from the Ahsoka series. So maybe there's something here that I'm not seeing, but definitely ready to never see anything from this mold again. Don't get me wrong, 2014, glad to have it, but it did not age well at all. So that's number 12, Anakin Skywalker. And then next in the wave, another thing that's become the bane of my existence, number 14, Clone Trooper. 14 hybrid? What do you mean 14? Who's number 13? There's actually a fun fact on number 13, and we'll get to that after this. But the Clone Trooper. This is the Phase 1 clone as seen in Attack of the Clones, and it looks okay, right? Like, you take that first glance at it, and you're like, yep, that's a clone trooper. These guys, I remember I ordered 3 of back on Amazon, like, as soon as they became available, and immediately being frustrated. He has the double elbows and the double knees, and the legs generally are okay. But man, he just could not get into any poses. The elbows don't quite reach 90 degrees, and even though they're double, and then they have the swivel at the bicep, and the shoulders are all clunky with the shoulder pads, this was just a very, very frustrating figure at the time. And I remember even way back when, this clone mold never really hit for me when it first came out, and it was always just annoying to try and mess with it. And, I was just happy to be getting clone figures, but I was super happy when we finally started getting some upgrades. Eventually, when we got that Rex and Bly, and they, fixed the double elbows to at least get a little bit of range, that was nicer, but we've definitely made some amazing strides in Clone Trooper technology over the years. That said, this figure does generally have some decent proportions if you care about him having the proportions from the movies, which those CG models of clones didn't really have anatomically correct human proportions to begin with. So, when they were running, their armors would clip through each other and stuff. And when you bring an action figure in, it's plastic. Plastic can't move through plastic, so it just hits and stops, and that's your range. And so, objectively, it's very film accurate looking, but objectively, it's a very bad action figure. This was one that I was very, very eager to finally see some upgrades on. But for the time, it's what it was. Remember, early days of the Black Series, they were really just trying to find their feet. And now, I had mentioned a number 13 Easter egg. And here we go. Chewbacca was originally supposed to be a part of this wave, and promo photos came out back in the day of Chewbacca in this wave. And yeah, he's doing the stanky leg there in the box. Hasbro wanted to have him in the box, not hiding anything. They didn't want to, take the legs off and have you assemble them or anything. They wanted him in the box, visible, and while he does technically fit in the box set size, the window was too low. And so he would have been hiding his face behind the Black Series logo, so they articulated his legs all stanky-legged, and then it's still mostly hiding his head. And that was when they decided to rebrand the packaging a little bit, freshen it up, and give us the blue line packaging that we'll be starting with on the next episode, which had a higher window, which gave a little bit more clearance for some of these taller characters the line might start getting, which is good forward thinking generally. It sucks that they had to get to a figure and then shuffle. But yeah, number 13 Chewbacca never got released in the orange line. However, technically, the box is out there. There are some boxes of Orange Line Chewbacca number 13 where they put some clone troopers, or maybe it was Anakin's, in the box, and they ended up actually making it out there. I know it was a little bit of a packaging variant people were talking about back in the day, and if anyone has one and would be open to letting a collector like Hybrid Toy Reviews buy it from you, hit me up on Instagram, please. It would be an interesting thing in my Black Series collection. But yeah, it was something that happened a couple of times. I know there's a few examples of the packaging being in hand, but of course it would then have a different tray with a different figure inside of it. You wouldn't have the tray that's pre-molded with Chewbacca doing the stanky leg. But ultimately, just a really cool variation, or not a variation, just a factoid. So yeah, Orange Line will never technically be complete. You'll never have number 13 in it. But that is it for this week's Black Series retrospective, Black Series of Yesteryear. It's been fun. We finally got through the orange line, and now we are going to get into the blue line. And, objectively, Black Series was really starting to find their feet in those first couple of waves. Blue line, a couple of really good figures are about to start coming up in these next couple of episodes, I gotta say. So I hope you're excited. I remember they were really fun to hunt back in the day, and I'm really excited to talk about them with you. So that is it for this week. May the Force be with each and every single one of you. Hope you're having a good day, and until next time, later. Bye.